Are you tired of spending your time and money chasing strategy after strategy only to discover what worked 10, 5, or even 2 years ago is not working now? Things shift fast in the online space, and if you're not keeping up, you're getting left behind. It's time for something different. Welcome to the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast, where every single episode will be jam-packed with proven, profitable strategies, behind-the-scenes secrets, and what's working now resources from industry experts and global influencers to help you scale your business, shorten your learning curve, and stand out in a crowded, noisy marketplace. And now, your host, award-winning marketing and media strategist, and international speaker, Patty Farmer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast. I'm your host, Patty Farmer, and I am looking forward to sharing today's industry expert with you. And today's expert is somebody that I have known for quite a while. I have been on her podcast, and I have literally actually purchased several of her programs myself. And I have to tell you, she's somebody that really has it going on. And really gets it and has, like, what I would say, a pulse on what's happening in the marketplace right now. So she's somebody you should listen to. So I hope you're getting your pen and paper out so you can take lots of notes. So let me tell you a little bit about her. After overcoming poverty, child abuse, rape, teenage pregnancy, and near death, Amanda Goldman-Petri was able to persevere and grow 4 successful brands by the age of 27. Generating over $500,000 in sales in under 4 months. After perfecting her system for growing businesses, Amanda began her coaching career as founder of MarketLikeANerd.com. She quickly became internationally renowned for helping entrepreneurs maximize their profits while minimizing the amount of time and effort they put into their business. The business quickly expanded to over 30 different countries and 6 continents. And I think really every time I hear the phrase, work smarter, not harder, I think about you. It's like so great. So thank you so much, Amanda, for being here with me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me and for you guys and to you guys for listening.
It's so great. So it's like, really, I have to tell you, in the amount of time I could capture you for, literally trying to figure out what was the most value that I could give to my audience was super tough, because I think that really, with all those things we just talked about, that I got to tell you, Amanda, if you could go through all of that and still manage to be successful, I hope if there's nothing else that my audience gets out of this is whatever excuses or fears have been holding you back. Like, I think you should realize right now that if she can do it, you can do it. So no more excuses. So let's just kind of dig a little deeper. So Amanda, I mean, you kind of shared some of that right there in your bio, but the reality really is that we all don't wake up one day and say, you know what, this is what I want to do. And then we have this clear path to get there, right? You know, I don't think that really happens very often. Usually we kind of have this little zigzag way of getting on our journey. And then we have an aha moment or two where we just know, you know what, this is it. And now I'm doing what I always know that I was meant to do. I know you couldn't do all those things that you do if you didn't have that passion for what you do. You have the skills, but you definitely have the passion. Tell us what a couple of those aha moments were that really targeted for you where you knew you need to be and how to serve.
Oh man, it was definitely not a straight path at all. It's actually kind of funny because I remember being in college and I was talking to people who were studying business, and I remember laughing at them because, oh, that must be so boring.
Right.
And here I am years later, a business owner, totally obsessed with entrepreneurship. No, actually in college, I studied just about everything except for marketing. I graduated from Johns Hopkins University. So as you can imagine, I started out studying medicine. My first major was neuroscience, and then eventually shifted gears and graduated with a degree in Russian, a degree in writing, and a degree in Chinese. all very random things that I do not at all use in my life anymore.
The neuroscience one, though, has to come into play. I know that I also have a degree in that, and it has helped me a lot in marketing.
Oh my God, I didn't know that about you. That's so cool. I love that. Yes, that absolutely does come in handy for sure. So does the writing. It comes in handy, but it's not the exact thing that I'm doing right now. My aha moment really happened after I graduated from college, and I decided I wanted to take a break from learning and start experiencing the workplace. And I started looking for jobs that just seemed interesting to me. I saw a job for a social media marketing internship, and I thought, oh, that'll be a good break from the mundane life of studying science.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And when I took that job, I got so much more out of it than I even realized. I thought it would just be like a fun break while I went on my soul searching journey to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And what ended up happening was I fell into this marketplace where there's so many female entrepreneurs supporting other female entrepreneurs. And they're all talking about how you can live the exact life that you want and anything is possible. And it was just so uplifting and so empowering. And I got addicted to the positivity and the limitless point of view that we entrepreneurs have in this online marketing space. I don't think growing up in the normal traditional schooling that we know about the consulting world, the coaching world, we don't really talk about that. The traditional routes that we want our kids to go in is, you got to be a doctor, or you got to be a lawyer. So that's what I got sucked into, but it wasn't necessarily what I was passionate about. So when I saw this marketplace full of these ambitious, empowering women all supporting each other and really working very hard to live the exact lives that they want to live, to craft it in the most aligned way possible, that spoke to my heart. That's what sucked me in.
I really love that because, I think a lot of times kids, like they could be super artsy and very creative. And as parents, we may love that they do all that, but it never leads us to say, oh, you don't need to go to college. You should just be an entrepreneur. You could be a graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't even occur to us to really say that. But the reality really is entrepreneurship is really where it's at. And the freedom in so many ways that it gives you is really what parents really would love for their kids. We just didn't know any other way. And now I have to say what a blessing it is to be able to really, I know that when I talk to my grandkids, it's a whole different conversation.
Oh,
and I really love that. But you know what? I think that along our path, sometimes we actually come across these obstacles or blind spots, sometimes even roadblocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are ones that we have to overcome ourselves, because I know for me that if that happens, it's pretty much always me. I am the roadblock, right? But what would you say is the biggest obstacle or roadblock that you had to overcome and that literally took you the longest to learn?
Oh, goodness. My strength is also my weakness. And the biggest thing that I've had to overcome certainly was myself, which is that because I am an intellectual, you don't just get into a school like Johns Hopkins University by,
because you're
walking through life. You are an intellectual. That's how you get into a job like that. You have a lot of intellectual curiosity. And I certainly do. I have a ton of intellectual curiosity, which means I'm a learning junkie. I graduated with 3 degrees. So in the entrepreneurial world, what that translated to was me wanting to learn everything and me wanting to do everything. So I wanted to master Facebook ads and PR and telesummits and giveaways and podcasting and video blogging and sales and funnels and launching and membership sites and websites and branding and the legal side and everything I wanted to.
And you actually have done that. Actually, I think that I would associate almost, if I was doing hashtags, I would say I would really do all those things with you. I would say that you have had your hand over your career, and you're not very old, in almost every single one of those.
You are correct. And that is a massive blessing. And I think from the outside looking in, people would say, oh, Amanda, that's amazing that you've been able to master all of these things. Because from the outside looking in, that seems incredible. And that seems so fortunate. But on the inside, what ends up happening is it creates a lot of confusion about what it is that I want to specialize in and how I want to help people. And it means I'm offering so many different things that my infrastructure has to be very massive, and the amount of work that goes into creating all of these different funnels and all of these different launches to sell all of these different offers to all of these different people just becomes so much to manage. And so one of the big things I've had to work on is letting go and saying, you know what, just because I can help in all of these areas doesn't mean that I should. It doesn't mean that I have to. And it's actually a disservice to my people to try to be all things to all people and to have a million different offers. What is really the most transformational is being able to serve one person in one way with one thing at a time and massively scale that up. And then, you know what, if I want to go and create the next funnel after that, I can. But getting focus and simplifying has been, oh my gosh, so transformational.
I think that brings two things to mind to me. So if this was Shark Tank, they would be saying you have too many SKUs, right? Right? You know? But I would say that the thing is, yes, it is true. I mean, there are a lot of things that I am a master at, but learning to stay in my own lane and decide really what brings me the most happiness and passion in serving in that way, even though you could do all these things. What's really great about that, though, once you get that, is it gives you this great opportunity to collaborate with other people. Because when you can do everything, like everybody doesn't really think of you as a collaborative partner. So when you don't, and you do kind of scale back right there, it enables you to really be able to, because you've mastered those things, to know who are the best, strategic partners for you. And it really makes the opportunity to collaborate so much better, and the ability to get in so many other people's people, right? Which really is really where it's at, right?
100%. And that's actually what has organically ended up happening. I used to have an offer in my business where I had templates for legal agreements. And then I ended up partnering with Valerie Del Grosso from Del Grosso Law. And now if anyone needs anything legal related, I say, go on over to her. I used to have an offer in my business where I would create brands. I would create websites for my clients, and they were amazing and they were so good. But that's not how I wanted to scale up. It's not what I wanted to focus on. And now, okay, go over to Minling Chuang. That's who's going to serve you best. And so what that ends up meaning is, for me, I have more focus. For my team, they have more focus. And for my clients, they're getting the best of the best in each area that they need help.
And I think that is so good. So if we were going to actually take that right there, what do you believe is the thing that you do best?
So, you know what? We had to actually really look at the data in our company to figure this out, because we are very passionate at everything that we do. And so our strategy for figuring this out was to look at the data of where are our clients getting results. And what we looked at was, when we are teaching our clients launches, it might take, because launches are very manual, they take a lot of time, a lot of effort. You have to build up a list and then go and create all this marketing material and send your list to the marketing material, but then lists are kind of dying right now, emails. not what it used to be. And so it might take people 90 days. And sure, you know, maybe they have a 6-figure launch. Most people usually don't. Because if you're not a marketing expert and you're doing it yourself, that's just kind of how it usually goes.
Amen.
And yeah, but then we were looking at Facebook ads, and we've got people who are, you know, we're spending $9,000 in ad spend. They're making $50,000 in a week off of $9,000 in ad spend. They're spending $700. They're making $100,000 in a month off of $700 in ad spend. And so we see results like that, and all of a sudden it's very clear to us, okay, traffic, that's where we excel. We excel at getting people the right traffic to their offers, primed traffic that's ready to buy. That's where our specialty is.
I love that. And before we actually go into that, because I really kind of would like to go deeper into this, I have to tell you, when I was looking at, okay, what is it that in our time with Amanda and all of her vast knowledge do I really want to go? And I really decided that this was really someplace we wanted to go, because people are really scared about paid traffic and that kind of stuff. So I thought, who can I bring on that could really talk about this? That's literally done all these other things, so you can speak through several different lenses, right, from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. But before we go there, you had this phrase that I saw on your site that I really made me laugh, kinda, right? Kinda. So let's talk a little bit. Could you kind of give us your definition of what you call prayer traffic? Is that really something?
Yes. So there's 3 different types of traffic. There's traffic that you pay for, paid traffic. There's traffic that you leverage from someone else. It's their traffic and you kind of piggyback off of it. Piggyback traffic. Another word for this is publicity traffic. So, you know, it's someone else built a list, someone else built a listenership. Actually, this is a prime example. Me being on your podcast is me using piggyback traffic. I'm piggybacking off of your listeners. Everything else is when you're crossing your fingers, hoping it's going to work. You can't predict it. You have to do it all yourself. It's organic. Organic traffic it's prayer traffic. It's when you just kind of have to say a prayer and hope that you're going to get that traffic coming through. SEO, that's a prime example of prayer traffic. You decide what your keywords are, and then you put your keywords in your website, and you have to pray that someone is going to go on Google, type that keyword in, and pray that you're the person that shows up in their Google search, and pray that they're going to click on that search and go to your website, and pray that from your website, they're going to go and do something. Or
more importantly than that, you also have to pray you know how to do SEO well, or that you hired somebody who tells you that they do SEO well, that you got good advice and you're doing the right thing, and you have no idea if that's true either.
Which is often not the case. And manual social media organic marketing is often the same way. You have to pray that people are going on social media and they're typing in to find your type of business, or pray that they're in the same groups that you're marketing in, and pray that the day and the time that you posted, they actually saw it, and pray that when they saw it, they actually read it and they're going to click on it. And it's so much guesswork.
And it's so much guesswork.
Yes, a lot of prayer. That's not reliable.
Right? And so that kind of leads us to free, right? You know, a lot of people, really, that is their thing. And I get it, right? We all understand. But we all know that free, right, is never
not real.
It's not even free.
It's not, because you are paying for that time. You are all of that time that you essentially wasted trying to optimize your website and post on social media and just sit and wait and pray that someone is coming. You just lost money in the process. And you could have been making money if you had just invested in a faster strategy, in a more trackable strategy that actually gave you data. And a lot of times that type of work that you're doing, like you said, with SEO, you're often, if you want to do it right, you are paying for people to do your SEO. Often people are even hiring social media marketers. Most social media marketers who are doing organic social media do not know how to translate building a following, getting likes, getting comments into making money. Or if they do, it's just a very slow, unpredictable, not trackable process. And so you do end up losing money. It is not free. Nothing is free. Definitely not in business.
I think that is so true. And I think that a lot of times people just actually don't realize that, or they can't quantify it either. But one of the things that I think is really interesting that you said is we all know it is about traffic. And I have to tell you that one of the things I notice, not that I don't love it, the people, but one of the things I've noticed is when I say to somebody, oh, how can we connect with you, or that kind of stuff, one of the things that I think is so funny is they'll be like, oh, you connect with me on Facebook, and here's my email. And like they never say their website. I have to tell you, I'm thinking, why don't you have your social media on your website? Don't you have your email and your phone number and all that stuff on your website? So it really, why are you not telling people that the way that they connect with you and driving them to your website? And I think that that's really funny because I see it over and over again and I'm just always blown away. But then I was thinking about something I also read where you were talking about, we all know that traffic's the most important thing in your business. We know it, right? But when I heard you say that anything that is not traffic, everything else is a distraction. And I was like, ooh, that was really good. Like it might actually even make it to my quote of the day because I really like it, right? You know, because it is true. And I think that it is so easy to get distracted nowadays by going, oh, wait a second, I need to be over here and worried about this. Oh, wait a second, I need to be over here and worried about this. But the reality is traffic is really where it's at. So I mean, let's kind of get there, right?
If you think about it, every business, it doesn't matter what the niche or industry is, they have the same exact business models. You attract, nurture, convert, deliver, resell, operate. So you attract traffic, leads, right? You nurture them, get them to know, like, and trust you, convert them, so turn those leads into buyers. Then you can deliver your services, fulfill on whatever it is that they bought, resell those buyers, turn them into zombie loyalists who keep coming back over and over and over again, and then operate the business on a day-to-day basis. You notice it all starts with attract. It all starts with traffic. If you don't have traffic, you don't have anyone to nurture. If you don't have anyone to nurture, you ain't got anyone to convert. And if you're not attracting all the way to the point to conversion, you don't have customers. So everything depends on that traffic. If you have not scaled your traffic system, made that predictable, made that sustainable, ideally delegated it out so that it is not dependent on you and it can survive in crises like what just happened with the coronavirus. If that system is not scalable, your business is not scalable. It all starts with that.
That is so true. So now let's kind of talk about what are some of the best ways. So now, okay, so we're talking about what isn't working, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what is working and what's some of the ways that you can actually, convert and get more clients, right? So that's what everybody wants to know. Their pen and papers already, here come the writer downers, I can tell. So let's kind of talk about that.
Sure. So we already said no to SEO, no to social media no to organic social media marketing. I said publicity piggyback marketing is great because then you can kind of take other people's audiences and leverage them for your own. But if I had to say the number one best form of traffic, it's paid advertising. Specifically, I would say Facebook advertising because it is the type of advertising where you have so much control and so much predictability and so much sustainability on your traffic. You can go and hire someone to manage your ads for you, so it's off of your plate. And that means that if something happens to you, it's totally fine. They're still running it. You can put in the exact amount of money that you need based on what results you want to get. Once they're working, you can just put more money in and you can scale it up. You can see exactly what's working and what's not. You know exactly where all of the traffic is coming from which ad, from which funnel. You have control. And from that control, you have predictability. And from that predictability, you have sustainability. So Facebook ads is where it's at. Now, The challenge with that is they are very technical, they are very nuanced, and so they can be very scary. Oftentimes, a lot of people will spend $100 and they'll say, oh, well, I didn't make money off of Facebook ads. I didn't make my $100 back, so Facebook ads don't work. I'm not doing that. And they'll stop. But the thing is, they do work. You just have to work them. They always work. It's just a matter of how much time and testing it's going to take. And if you are not patient, and if you are not willing to put in that time in order to test it and get it right, and you give up too quickly, of course it's not going to work. $100 with one ad, you haven't tested anything, you haven't looked at any data, of course the ads aren't going to work and you're going to feel like it's a failure. But that's the thing. They do work. They always work. You just have to do it right. So how do you do the ads right?
That was going to be my very next question. Imagine.
I'm in your head. What can I say? So how do you do the ads right? Well, what most people will do, like I said, is they'll spend a little bit of money, and maybe they'll run a couple different ads. Maybe one long ad and one short ad. And oftentimes those ads are just very overtly salesy. It'll be like, hey, this is my free gift. Here's the name of the webinar or the freebie. Click here to go get it. Almost every single ad that most people run when they start, that's how it is. It's an overtly salesy ad. But the problem with that, there's a couple problems. Number one, you're not testing enough. 2 ads, one long, one short, that's nowhere near enough testing, and I'll explain why in just a second. But the second problem with that is there is a very small percentage of people on Facebook who will respond to an overtly salesy ad. The reason being that the type of person who will click on an ad that says, hey, I've got this free gift, here's the name of it, click here to go get it, that type of person is already aware of their problem. They know exactly what their problem is. They're already aware that solving that problem is possible. They're already aware of the exact path that they want to take to solve it. They're already aware of you as the person who can take them down that path. The only thing they don't know is your product. That's it. They don't know about your freebie. They don't know about your paid offer. That's the exact person who that type of ad is right for. They've gone through so many levels of awareness already. Very few people on Facebook already are aware of their problem, their possibilities, their path, and you as the person, and just need to know what your product or offering is. Very, very few.
Because that would be amazing if that happened.
Right? That would be incredible. That would be easy. But this is business. We don't get in this for it to be easy. And so you have to be aware as a marketer on Facebook that 99% of the people who you're going to be targeting in your newsfeed have not gone through those levels of awareness yet. And so you have to speak to the exact state of minds that they are in. There's going to be people in your newsfeed who don't even know that the problem you solved is the problem that they need to be focusing on. I mean, just think about what we're talking about here. There's probably people who are listening to this podcast and until listening to this podcast didn't even realize, oh man, I should really be working on traffic because they were distracted. Right? They probably thought, oh, I really got to be working on my branding, or I need to get this mastermind out there, or I really got to get my membership portal up. And until they heard this and had it explained to them the way that I've explained it, attract, nurture, convert, deliver, resell, operate, it all starts from attract. That was probably a light bulb moment. And they said, I've got to focus on traffic, right? So there's people in the newsfeed who are exactly like that. If you're a dating coach, they might not even realize that they're living in the single world and, hey, it's time to start working on, getting back into the game. If they're a mom, they might not even realize that they can get their kids helping with chores. That's one of our clients that we run ads for. She sells a chore system where she teaches moms to get their kids enrolled in helping with chores around the house and their spouses too. And that's the thing.
That's the real one, is getting them
right.
And I love that you used the word enrolled. I mean, that was super key right there, right? Enrolled, right? They're invested.
Right.
They got to be invested. I love that right there.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of moms who didn't even think about it. You have to consider there are prospects in the newsfeed where their state of mind is they are distracted. They're not focused on the problem that you solve, not because it's not a problem, but because they haven't even realized it yet. So you have to be running ads that speak to that and that educate them. That's why I love ads that are not overtly salesy. They teach first, they educate first, and then they ask. Then they go into the funnel. Because you have to speak to the state of mind that your prospects are in, educate them, shift that state of mind to a state of readiness for whatever it is that you're going to be offering in that ad. And that's what most ads are completely missing. They're not hitting that state of mind. Other people, maybe they are aware of the problem. You know, maybe I do have people who are listening right now or who I'm reaching in the newsfeed who know, man, I've got to get more traffic. Maybe even they already know, man, I want to do Facebook ads, right? But perhaps they just don't feel like it's possible for them. Maybe they feel like I'm not techie enough. It's too nuanced. It's too expensive. They just don't feel like it's
wrong people. That's what people say to me. Is they're like, oh, Patty, I want to make sure. Like, how do I know I'm getting the right people? But one of the things that I have noticed is that when people come to me and ask me, you know, about Facebook ads, clients or potential clients, almost always, like 95% of the time, when they ask me about Facebook ads, it's always because they've already tried Facebook ads by themselves or hired somebody else and didn't have a good experience.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about most ads managers. Typically when we're getting referrals, because we get a lot of referrals in our business, it's from existing clients who are going and telling other people who are already working with agencies, and they're saying, God, my agency, they're running so many angles, they're going so fast, and that's what really makes us stand out, because most ads managers are doing exactly what I talked about before. They're running overtly salesy ads, and they're running a couple of them, like a long version and short version, but that's not good advertising. Good advertising is running a variety of different angles. Actually, when we start running ads for our clients, we start with outlining 44 different angles for you. That's how many ads we're running. Because
I think that's very interesting when you say that, because I'm going to tell you, I remember my very first experience with hiring somebody for Facebook ads. And I remember the two things that really hit me. The first thing they said, oh, we need to do a like campaign first. And all these ads with ducks and penguins and all this kind of stuff. And I literally got like 10,000 people that didn't even speak English. And
oh no.
I was like, and I just literally was like, what is that? And the second thing was that they told me, oh, I remember so clearly. So I have a pretty big list. And I remember that they told me that how they would do it is they wanted to do a lookalike list. And so they wanted me to turn over my list to them so that they could do that. And I'm thinking, really, what am I paying you for? So I remember those two things did not leave a good taste in my mouth for sure about that. And it wasn't until, as a marketing person, I was like, okay, surely there's another way than this. And I did my due diligence, right? And went and did more work. But then I remember thinking to myself, but what about the people who are not marketing people, right? So they don't know, and they would just think, oh, is that what I should be doing? And I have to tell you, it just really was a totally different experience than when you do it right.
Yeah, so speaking to those two things, the like campaign, that used to be a thing way back when. I was never a fan of that. And I could always tell when a Facebook ads manager wasn't getting financial results for their clients, because you can see it in the testimonials. There are some really famous agencies out there, but if you look at their testimonials, it's all about, oh, I got this many likes, I've got this much engagement, this many comments, but almost no testimonials that are speaking to the financial results. That's what our testimonials speak to. That's what our case studies speak to. So that's just kind of a way to vet agencies. If you're thinking about hiring them, look at their testimonials and their case studies, and specifically, are they talking about financial results or are they talking about vanity results, which is what that is. And then in terms of lookalike audiences, that is something that a lot of ads managers like to do because I don't know any other way to say this except that it makes them sound smart. Okay. And, theoretically it should work, right? You upload your list into Facebook and Facebook goes and finds people who look like other people on your list. And it's very ironic. It's almost contradictory. I wouldn't think it would be this way, but in almost all of our testing, and we test a lot, we run so much money through ads. The lookalike audience is almost never the winners. Almost never. It's really weird. But that's just how it is.
Ask yourself, is the list that you're giving them as the lookalike list your exact buyers? Are those people who are buying from you? Are they your perfect ideal clients who are hiring you?
Right. Most people, only 1% to 3% of their lists are actually buyers. So that's often probably why. If you made a lookalike off of your buyers list, maybe you'd have different results. But for us, because we're running so many different angles, we get so much data that we're able to really pinpoint what's working and what's not. So
and you do
most
that
ads,
anybody's list, you're able to do that without anybody having to hand over their list to you. That's always the first thing they say to me.
Yeah, so it is something that we test. We wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't have that as an option for testing. But what will often happen with lists is there will be a lifespan to them, because eventually the list has seen everything that there is to see. They've seen those ads, and so it'll kind of die. It'll have a lifespan. So a lot of our results, yes, are coming from cold traffic, new blood, new leads, new people. That's the blood of Facebook ads. I mean, that's the whole point. You're getting, I don't want to pay a platform just to get in front of people that I've already gotten on my list. I want to get new people. Right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the beauty in Facebook ads that work. You've got to make sure that you're doing it for financial results. You've got to make sure you're doing it for new blood, new traffic. And if you want to do it right, it's not a matter of doing 1 or 2 overtly salesy ads. It's a matter of running a variety of angles. Now, how do you come up with the angles? Because like I said, we come up with 44. How on earth do we come up with 44 different angles? So the thing that we use is we use what we call the Awareness Domino. And the idea behind this is that there's going to be a different state of mind throughout the entire buying journey. And the newsfeed is full of prospects who are all in different stages. Sometimes you'll see people in the newsfeed and they're ready to buy right then and there. We actually have a lot of success running ads going directly into a paid offer. A lot of Facebook ad gurus will say, oh no, you're never supposed to send Facebook ads directly to an offer. But that's not true. If you do it the right way, you're targeting the right person who's already aware of their problem, already aware of the possibilities, already aware of the path they want to take, already aware of you as the person who can solve that problem. All they need is the product. Boom, put that product in front of them. They're ready for it. The problem
How many steps are there in that awareness domino?
So that's what I'm going to go through right now.
I love it. You are
Awesome.
reading my mind.
I know, I love it. It's probably because we've known each other so long. All right, so the first step in the awareness domino is awareness of the problem. We talked about this a little bit already, right? There's going to be people who are in the newsfeed who don't even realize the problem that you solve is the problem they need to actually be focused on. So you need to make sure that you are writing ads that educate them about the problem. Ads that speak to what are the symptoms that you might be experiencing. Oh, you have these symptoms? That's probably because you have this problem. Oh, are there these other things that you're focused on right now? No. Those are distractions. Here's the thing you need to be working on. So the idea behind these types of ads is you need to sell them on the idea of focusing on this problem, solving this problem, and convincing them that everything else is a distraction, nothing else matters except for this problem. So you've got to make sure that you have that type of ad running as one of the ads in your campaigns as a split test. From there, the next level in the domino is awareness of the possibilities. You've got to make sure that you're running ads that speak to the psychological impacts, the physiological impacts, the professional impacts, the personal impacts that solving this problem is going to have, and do it in a way that proves it's possible. So this is where proof and stories really come in handy. If you can show people that this can be a reality for them, that's going to help them to really believe that not only do they need to focus on this problem, but they can actually overcome it, right? From there, the next step in the domino is awareness of the path. So you've got to have ads that speak to the specific path that you recommend to solve the problem. A good example of this would be, okay, I convince you that you need to focus on traffic. I convince you it's completely possible to create a scalable business by just focusing on traffic. But there are multiple paths. There's Facebook ads traffic, there's Twitter traffic, there's Instagram traffic, there's LinkedIn ad traffic, there's publicity traffic, there's telesummits, there's giveaways. Those are all forms of list building. Those are all forms of traffic. So my job is to show you my path is best. All of these other paths are subpar, they're mediocre, they're not worth your time and attention, they are distractions. This is the path you need to be focused on, right? Kind of like the example of the mom one of my clients who teaches moms to enroll their kids and their spouses into helping with chores. What are other options there? Go to care.com and hire someone to come to your house and clean up for you. Go onto Thumbtack and get a cleaning service to come over, or just do it yourself, right? So she has to run ads, we run ads for her that speak to that, the contrast between those two paths and those two options, hiring someone on care.com versus just enrolling your kids and your spouses in doing it with you and for you, and illuminating for those prospects the opportunity that they have with this path, persuading them this is the path that's right. From there, the next step in the domino is awareness of you. They've got to be aware that you are the type of you are the exact person who can help them solve this problem, make this possibility a reality, and help them down this path. This is where specialization really comes in handy, and being able to, this is where when I was telling you my biggest strength is also my weakness, because this is where I was falling short. I wasn't showing up as the person who could help them down that path because I was solving too many problems. I was talking about too many different paths. So I wasn't showing up as the person that they can know, like, and trust that will help them down this path. And so with these ads, we'll typically run ads that touch on the no factor. We'll share stories. We'll share stumbling blocks. We'll run ads that talk about the like factor. So ads that really speak to their convictions and are polarizing. And we'll run a lot of ads that speak to the trust factor too, that are normally very content-based. So we'll have our clients actually run through video ads where they're teaching. And then after they teach, they'll go and they'll pitch their offer, because the whole idea behind awareness of you is you're showing up as a trusted expert for this specific problem and this specific path. Now, at that point, all they need to know is your offer. So that's awareness of your offer. And that could be the free thing, or it could be the paid thing. It could be going into, free webinar, a free PDF, a free phone call, or going straight into the product. We've done it many different ways. But there, you need to run ads that speak to three things. Speak to people's emotional motivations, including fear, like the good feelings and the bad feelings. You need to run ads that test warm and fuzzy feelings. You need to run ads that test really, as a lot of sales and marketers say, like twisting the knife. And you need to run ads that speak to the fear, so emotional motivations, because some people are emotional buyers. They already know about you and they already are convinced about the problem and the path and the possibilities. Now they need to be convinced about your offer. And so this is about, this is when you can start to become more overtly salesy. And this is when your job is to convince them, essentially persuade them to buy. And so people buy in different ways. Some people are very emotional buyers. They buy based on a feeling. So you have to have ads that speak to feelings. Not everyone buys that way. Some people buy based on logic. It's, is this comparatively the best option? Does this logically make sense right now? And so actually this is where a lot of coronavirus ads, coronavirus ads are touching on both emotion and logic. It's, logically, you can't go out to the store, so you kind of need to buy this thing online. Logically, your business is closed down, so you need to learn how to open it up online. It makes sense. But you can also run the angle of, oh man, if you don't go and take your business online right now, it's going to fail and it's going to die. So you need to do it right now. So some people will respond to that emotional angle and other will respond to the logical angle. Now you've got a third group of buyers who they respond to ethical motivations. Me and my husband are very much like that. We actually were just in conversations with a insurance company, Aflac. And my husband made the decision to join the Aflac team as a, reseller, is what they call it. I don't know. And the reason why he chose it is because they are consistently voted the most ethical insurance company every single solitary year. And he was just blown away at the ethics of the integrity of the company. And so that's how he chose to buy. I'm often the same exact way in how I buy. I'm less of an emotional buyer, more of a logical and ethical buyer. And so you have to have ads that speak to each of those different types of emotions. So if you've been counting it up, that's a lot of different ad angles. And so you can see why most people struggle with ads. They're not touching on all of the different states of mind that their prospects could be in. And that's where they're falling short. So you just need to be creative and you need to write a lot. And if that doesn't sound good to you, hire someone to do it.
That absolutely makes sense. So there's actually 5 steps. So there's 5 steps in the awareness domino.
Mm-hmm. Awareness of the problem, awareness of the possibilities, awareness of the path, awareness of the person, so you, and awareness of the product.
So when you think about that, what would you say if somebody was brand new to Facebook ads, right? What advice would you give them if they were like a newbie? So they were a Facebook ad virgin, like they had never done anything and they're kind of thinking about it. So obviously our first answer here would be they should hire you. But, but what's the first thing they should be thinking about? Because sometimes you can actually go to somebody and you don't have a lot of the things in place. Now,
yes,
somebody who has an agency like you could probably help them get those things into place as well,
yes,
especially with all the other hashtag things that you do. But with that said, I just love saying that. But with that said, when you're brand new, like you're thinking to yourself, okay, I've never done that. And I do believe that when somebody has never done paid traffic, there is a lot of fear around that, right?
Yes.
A lot of fear around that. And so what advice would you give to somebody that was brand new and was contemplating that?
You know what? There's a lot of fear around it no matter what stage you're in. And I would even say there's a lot of fear around any strategy in business because it's business. It's risky. We don't ask for an easy lifestyle. One of my coaches, Alex Sharfin, he likes to say that your business is broken, and if you're doing your job, it always will be, something like that. Because the truth is, every single step you take in business, a new thing is going to be broken. A new risk is going to have to be taken. I think Fabian Fredrickson, she says, new level, new devil. It's very true. We don't get into entrepreneurship and owning a business because we want an easy, relaxing, simple lifestyle.
Well, I agree with you, because I think if you do your job right and you help them to solve a problem, solving that problem should create another problem.
Absolutely. Definitely. We have, like I said, one of our clients, she runs a health and fitness agency. She makes multiple six figures just from a course and a membership. And literally her only thing she does in her business is, or her only strategy in her business is we run ads. We run ads to her funnel. That's how she makes all of her money. But what we found is that the more traffic that was coming through, she was getting more feedback on her course. And people were saying, I wish this was different. I wish that was different. Here's some feedback. Here's some things that you might want to think about shifting or changing. And so she had to go and she had to change her course, because that broke when she got more clients coming through.
That's and even data. Data is a beautiful thing.
Oh my God, I love data.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So yes, it's definitely scary for newbies, but it is scary for everyone. And any form of business and marketing is going to be scary. If you are new and you want to get into Facebook ads, I would say the very first thing that you need is you need something to send traffic to. So you can't just have Facebook ads and it go to your website. You can't just have it and it go to any old thing. It has to go to something that's actually going to do something for your business. So you want to make sure that you have a funnel in place. And it doesn't have to be a complicated funnel. Actually, we have found that the simplest funnels are the ones that are actually working the best.
So I like that. I have to tell you, Amanda, this has been amazing. Like the whole awareness, I think that you really kind of went deep for people to really understand. Because the reality is that when I think and look at this awareness domino, it's really also kind of the awareness of the consumer journey in a way, kind of too, right?
Absolutely.
That is really, and if you don't really know the path of your, ideal customer's journey, obviously, how could you expect any type of traffic in any way, shape, or form, paid or not, to really work until you have that? So really
100%.
So much. So I have to tell you, thank you so much for really being so generous and really going deep there, because I think that really explains a lot. I think a lot of people can really understand that. I know we have a lot of writer downers here, and I think that
So, of course, and you're absolutely right. If this applies to any form of marketing and traffic. If you're writing emails to your list and you're trying to sell something, guess what? In your sales emails, you need to speak to the problem, the possibilities, the path, the person, and the product. You have to speak to all of them.
I love it. And I got to tell you, I love it when everything starts with the, marketing,
I know.
media, money, everything that I do is all about, I just love that. So I have to tell you, that spoke to me, and P works really good. Patty, right? I love it.
Oh, yay.
Yes, I love that. So how can my audience connect with you?
Absolutely. So the best way to do it is to go to marketlikeanerd.com. And we actually bypass our website and just go straight into our funnel, because like I said, simpler the better. We do what we teach. And so when you go there, you will actually see everything that we offer in terms of managing Facebook ads and done for you traffic for you. That's the best way to get in touch with us, marketlikeanerd.com.
And you actually have a gift for my audience too. So I love that. So you're not just sharing all your brilliance with us, but you actually brought gifts too. We love that. So tell us a little bit about the gift.
Yep. So when you go to that page, the way that we do it is it's ungated. There's no requirement to opt in or anything like that. You just go to the page and it'll have a video at the top that is going to walk you through the 3 steps to click worthy Facebook ads. And what's really cool about that training is it actually, I'm screen sharing. I'm going to show you ads that are working and read you the copy in the ads so that you can go and model them. So you can see these ads that are really working and swipe it for your business, take that idea and then just mold it to your specific business, which is really cool, because I feel like specifically with Facebook ads, that's definitely the type of person where if you can see a visual example, it's going to take you a lot further, a lot faster.
I absolutely agree with you. So Amanda, this is the portion of my show that I like to call OpenMic, my version of social karaoke. And that's my hashtag, social karaoke. And so what I would like to say is we're going to pass the mic to you. And the show is called Marketing, Media, Money, right? And so everything we talk about is that. But we really like to focus on what's working now, right? Not
Sure.
5 years ago, right? And so what I would really love to be able to ask you is, will you share, like you didn't share enough, right? But what would be your number one marketing, media, money strategy? Number one.
Cool. As long as I don't have to sing during social karaoke, I'm happy. Yes. So I hinted at it a little bit, actually. So if you remember the last question that you asked was, what would you do first? And I said, well, you got to set up a funnel. And a simple funnel is actually usually best. And then you asked me about my gift. And I said, oh, my gift is ungated. And there's just a training there. And you don't have to give me your name or email address at all. And so that was a really good segue into this question, which is what's working now is split testing a variety of different Facebook ad angles directly to your sales page, So no opt-in, no free gift, no webinar, no PDF, any of that, nonsense. You're going directly to your sales page. Now on the sales page, you need to have the training. So at the top of the page, you're going to have the title of your training and then a video. And the video, it doesn't need to be one of these long 2-hour Russell Brunson webinars. It can be a 20 to 50 minute training. It can be pretty short. All it has to do is speak to the problem, the possibilities, the path, the person, and the product. It just has to walk them through that journey. That's the goal of that video. And then right below the video, you have a button where they can click to schedule a call. And right underneath of that is your entire usual sales page where you speak to whatever your offer is. So if you are doing, a VIP day, let's say, then you would have a whole sales page about your VIP days. And then just at the top of the VIP day sales page, you put the title, the video, and the button. And it goes straight into the phone call. And you send ads directly there. So the reason why this works so well is because if you're doing your ads properly, that's already going to walk your prospects through that customer journey. And so by the time that they get to the page, they're already ready. They don't need to wait. They've already been convinced this is their problem. These are the possibilities. This is the path they want, and you're the person they want. So all that needs to happen is they just need that product. They just need that call. So if your ads are doing the job, if you're split testing those angles properly, you can send that traffic directly to your offer, and you'll see that you'll get calls. So obviously it depends upon the niche, and it depends upon the budget. But what we're seeing is, and this is going to be a wide range, but the reason is because of the niche and the budget. We've seen calls getting booked as low as like $25 cost per booked call, all the way up to $400 cost per booked call. I want to say an average of around $100 cost per booked call. But when you consider, if you get someone on the phone, you're usually selling them into an offer that's at minimum $2,000, usually more like $8,000 is what I'm seeing. If you're converting in your phone calls at, let's say, 25%, that means you need 4 calls in order to sell $2,000 to $8,000. And if you're paying $100 per call, you spent $400 and you made $2,000 to $8,000.
And not only that, but if you follow the awareness domino, by the time you get them on the call and they're already aware of the problem, the possibility, the path, the person, that when you just get to them on the call to talk about the offer, you've already done a lot of that work already.
Yes, and it doesn't end up having to be one of those annoying discovery calls. That used to be the thing in the coaching industry. Maybe it still is. I don't know. It's not how I do it. Where you would get people on discovery calls or strategy calls, and then they have no idea what the offer is. You have to go through 40 minutes of coaching them, and then you've got 15 minutes left to try to sneak in an offer and answer all of their objections, and it's just so difficult. With the way that we do this funnel, every single solitary person, 100% of the people who get on the phone are there to talk about buying. They're there because they have questions, they have objections we need to answer. Sure, but it's an actual sales call. It's not a coaching call, which is very different. And as you can imagine,
absolutely conversation,
better call.
Which is great.
Yes.
Right. I love that. So thank you so much, Amanda. This was absolutely fabulous. I appreciate you so much for being here with me.
Sure. Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for listening.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Marketing, Media, Money podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform. And join us on Facebook in the Marketing, Media, Money Magazine Podcast and Events Facebook group. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode. Have a phenomenal day. And remember, if it's not phenomenal, you have the power to change it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Marketing, Media, and Money podcast. To shorten your learning curve even more, make sure to grab your free copy of the Marketing, Media, and Money magazine at www.marketingmediamoney.com. I promise your business will thank you.